7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Riding the Pine, the only show that talks about sports on the internet. We're it. So, anyways, today we have 3 topics to talk about. This is one of our shorter shows. This is how it's going to be from now on. We're going to do 2 short shows during the week, some live shows during the weekend. More for you, easier for us. Everybody wins, unless you hate us. And then, well, then just, why are you here? That makes you a weirdo. So I got John and Joel with me today. We're going to be talking about Tony Romo and the quarterback controversy in Dallas that seems to have come to a conclusion, but I'm not buying it, Tony. I'm not buying what you're selling. I also have the coaching hot seat. We have 4 coaches that are currently being talked about on the national media circuit, and I disagree with every single one of these decisions. I don't think you should be on the hot seat at all, but what the fuck do I know? I'm just a neckbeard. And then finally, we're going to finish up on some Anthem talk. Some of the players are kind of, it seems, changing their stance in reference to whether or not they should sit or stand during the national anthem before football games. So anyways, Joel and John, how are you guys doing today?
I'm
doing great.
Doing pretty well, man.
Wow, that monotonous tone really sells it. You guys are high energy today. Chill, okay? So we're going to jump right into it. We're just going to start in Dallas, where obviously Dak Prescott has been playing very well. The Cowboys have only lost 1 game this season. Ezekiel Elliott's playing great. Obviously the offensive line is a strength. And Tony Romo and his old man back have been not playing. And Jerry Jones, for several weeks until basically this week, has kept the rumor alive that Tony Romo will be the starting quarterback eventually. He'll come back. But that seems to have changed because of Dak Prescott, especially the impressive come from behind victory this past weekend. And so Tony Romo gave a speech in which he's like, "Hey, this is Dak's team. The NFL's a meritocracy. It's what have you done for me lately? So I'm behind Dak and I support him and blah blah blah." But the whole time, personally, I'm thinking, man, Tony Romo does not believe this. He's just doing the right thing because he's like, he's a professional, but like it looked like to me the dude was like, "No, this is my fucking team." But he was just saying it. So John, how do you feel about that? Did you watch the press conference?
So I didn't see the press conference, but I did see a whole bunch of the coverage talking about that little clip that they showed of him either mouthing the words, "This is his time," or "This is his team." I don't know which one it is. That looked genuine to me. And I think what's happening here is, look, Romo sees the writing on the wall.
Sure.
Dak Prescott is the future of that team. And so I think, at this point, all Romo really can do is just start making sure that in New York they're saying R-O-M-O, Jets.
You think it'll be...
Because I think that's where this is headed.
If it wasn't past the trade deadline, I think he probably would have been traded. But, I feel like you could get some draft picks out of it if you're comfortable with Dax, which I think you should be. I think Romo should get out of there. Also, I think Romo has a few good years left in him if he can stay healthy, which is the big if. But still, Joel,
if.
Did you watch the press conference? And how do you feel about his little speech there?
Yeah, and I shared it over the social media, man, because I think it was a really classy move by Tony Romo. You don't see that very often. I kind of get what you mean. It did kind of almost have that hostage video feel to it.
That's what I mean by he didn't mean it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Like, I feel like he believes the words he's saying are the right thing. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like he believes that it's the correct thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I think what was genuine is you could really see that he sees the end of his career coming, and I think he was pretty genuine when he was talking about how he used to be that guy. I mean, the way he got his starting job in Dallas was through injury and trying to prove himself. So
yeah, I hear you. And now a lot of people are talking Dak Prescott for MVP. I think Ezekiel Elliott should get more votes than Dak in that regard, and I don't think either of them deserve to win it. But has he been really that much better? I mean, he's better than a guy who can't play physically because of his brokenness. But like at Tony Romo's best, I don't think Dak is better than Tony Romo.
I don't know, 500 plus QBR performances in a row, all 5 being wins.
Yeah.
Kind of feels to me like he's performing pretty well. And honestly, I'd like to know who it is you think would beat either of those guys, because frankly, I think it's going to be one of those two, and I'd love to see Dak win both MVP and Rookie of the Year. Hasn't happened since 1978.
I think Derek Carr and Tom Brady, and depending on how it shakes out, if the Lions win the division, like if they win out, I think Matthew Stafford definitely has a. I don't think his numbers are quite there as far as like he's going to lose numbers wise to Tom Brady, but his performance is up there to be in the conversation. I think he's about equal with Dak. I think Ezekiel Elliott is probably my number 3. But yeah, Carr and Brady are playing out of their minds. Even though Carr is just hard to watch because he just throws so fucking weird. I can't. It looks like every throw is going to be picked off and returned. It looks like Matt Schaub with like. You know how in Fallout you can set your luck to 10? It feels like that every time because it's just so ugly. And he's got weird sausage hands. Ugh. Don't like it, Derek Carr, but I respect you.
And what does it say about Tom Brady that we're still talking about him in the MVP ranks when he missed the first 4 games?
Dude, that's the pace he's on, though. He might still beat everyone at everything and have missed 4 games. Like, that's ridiculous. If the Saints were better, Drew Brees would be in this discussion too. But he doesn't have a defense to fall on. But he's playing out of his mind. Every win is because of Drew Brees. And they don't have that many. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Tony Romo should get a shot. I think he's got 2 or 3 years in him left if he can stay healthy. If I'm Tony Romo, I probably give it one more shot. And if I get hurt again, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, his life is going to be fucking horrible if he hurts his back again or his collarbone again.
Yeah, he can still play golf at this point, which is probably what I think he's going to do when he retires. Because he's pretty
really
good.
He's a really good golfer, but he didn't he get hurt playing golf one year? Like, he tweaked his back.
Yeah, he did. That was huge controversy.
Yeah, so I don't know. But, like, when Romo had DeMarco a couple years ago, His QBR was pretty fucking up there, too. We were talking MVP for him as well. So he just had last year with no really running back. I feel like he would have very similar numbers, and probably Des Bryant would be doing a lot better this year. Obviously, he's been hurt. With Tony, I think Tony Romo's a better passer. Obviously, Dak has more of this. He's kind of like a slower Russell Wilson to me. Like, he looks like him in the pocket still. He, like, moves around and he kind of keeps plays alive for a little bit.
And he doesn't turn the ball over.
Right, and he doesn't turn the ball over. Right, and Romo has been getting better at that.
Yeah.
His whole career, like not every year he's improved, but he's certainly improved over, old let me down Romo in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see. I want to see him in another jersey because I want to see what Romo can give. Because I believe that Tony Romo is capable of winning a Super Bowl. And I'd really like him to at least sniff one because he's just always played right,
Where's that team?
No idea. No fucking clue. If I'm Houston, I'm really considering it.
Oh, yeah.
But they spent so much money on Bork.
Yeah.
I know. If you can get vet minimum Tony Romo, I'd put him in camp with Bork Laser and hope it works out both ways. Like, I hope you have this sort of Favre Sanchez situation.
I know John likes the Jets. My Jets fans are not very high on that deal, though. They're sick of getting these guys right at the end of their career.
Romo is not Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, is he Brett Favre?
No. Brett Favre could play with any injury.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Brett Favre has like extra bones. Like he also has like an exoskeleton.
Like Wolverine.
Yeah, he's like Wolverine. Whereas Tony Romo's the guy in Unbreakable, Samuel
Mr.
Jackson.
Glass.
Yeah. So, But yeah, so
They went to fix his spine and found out it was balsa.
yeah, it's hollow bones. Like if you put wings on him, he'd glide around. So any more closing thoughts on Tony Romo, or do you guys want to jump right into the hot seat? Because that's probably going to take a little bit longer.
Let's just go straight into it, man.
Hot seat. So we're on the hot seat right now. There's 4 coaches that people have been talking about. I think only one of them has any merit, but I wouldn't pull the trigger on it, and that's going to be the first one we talk about. And that's Hugh Jackson in Cleveland. I know they're 0-10. Technically, they're not mathematically eliminated from that. But
crazy.
let's be real, they're mathematically eliminated from that. They're not gonna. If they won out, everyone else would have to lose out, basically. And it doesn't seem like the case is going to work out that way. But it's Cleveland. This is his first year. They are obviously tanking, like the ownership. They sent away everybody. I can't hold Hugh Jackson. Like, frankly, the fact that they're relatively fun to watch compared to like last year's Cleveland team makes me say, okay, like let's keep it going. Let's see what he can do with a couple of years. Do you think Hugh Jackson should be fired, Joel?
No, I really don't at this point. I watched them really closely, obviously, when they played the Titans earlier this year. But
Right.
I followed them a little bit all year. And when Cody Kessler's been healthy, they've looked pretty decent. And he's not that great of a quarterback, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he only has 5 touchdowns and an interception or something, so he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. But
Right.
7 games, 5 touchdowns, not great.
They at least look like an NFL offense when he's in there, though.
I like
And,
McCown in there though, because you never know what the fuck's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Because he's just
Yeah.
he just goes out there and he's like, I don't know what play we're calling, but we're gonna go for it and try our best.
I don't know if I've said it on the previous show or just in our chats, but I think Terrell Pryor is legit. I think he's going to be the
Isn't that
next
shocking?
guy. Yes, very much so. I think he's going to be the next guy to ascend to that Julio Jones era.
I think
tier
Coleman's legit too, though. I think you could have a Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden thing going on over there.
So if you're Tony Romo, would you want to try to go to the Browns?
No. No, they don't have an offensive line. You're
you're
going to
Tony
die.
Fair point.
If you're Tony Romo, you say absolutely not. But if you're Cleveland, you say, yeah, we could use a
No,
win.
if I'm Tony Romo, I go back home and go to the Bears.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, he went to college in Illinois. He, he's going to be embraced. There's no expectation in Chicago to win. And he'll have a when healthy, that offensive line has 3 Pro Bowlers on it. Yeah. And Cody Whitehair, is he a guard or a center? I can't remember. The guy they drafted, young guy, is improving every week. I see him in the NFC North all the time. I think that's a good situation. They have weapons. They have a always fluctuating power struggle in that conference. So yeah, I would go to Chicago if I'm Tony Romo. John, what do you think?
Yeah.
About Hugh Jackson specifically, not Tony Romo.
So
Stop it, Romo. Stop invading.
He's invading us. So I really I agree with the sentiment that I don't think he should be fired. When Cleveland steps on the field, it's pretty much a guarantee they're going to lose, but it's also pretty much a guarantee that there's going to be some kind of performance.
Yeah.
Joel, I like when you said, they look like an NFL offense. They still look like an NFL team. They just look like a bad NFL
Right.
team. And I think the idea that there's some tanking going on holds a lot of merit as well. So I think if they were to do something like that, it's most likely going to be a symbolic, hey, we're starting over. But I really feel like they kind of did that by bringing him in to begin with. So he deserves a couple of years, especially with, he deserves a couple of years.
Okay, so real quick, just because of the tanking discussion, I just want to go over this with you. The 2017 mock draft, the top 5 picks have been released. I don't know if this was Kuiper or who was it, but it's in our chat. So right now, obviously, I think the Browns are probably going to get the first pick. It has Texas A&M's Myles Garrett at defensive end, Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson, Alabama defensive line Jonathan Allen, Michigan safety / linebacker / cornerback / running back / quarterback / everything, kicker probably, Jabril Peppers. And then lastly, they have Leonard Fournette as the 5th overall pick. Of those 5, who do you think the Browns should select?
Of those 5, I
Yeah.
would probably wager that Myles Garrett is the best player in that pool.
I'd say he's the closest thing to a lock, right? But they do
Yeah.
play a 3-4 defense.
Yeah, and they just picked up Jamie Collins in a trade from the Patriots, so
Right.
they may not go that direction.
What do you think, John? Do you think because Deshaun Watson is a sexy pick because they don't have a quarterback, but do you want to reach for Deshaun? I mean, I know it's a reach by one pick according to this.
Honestly,
and I
real
wouldn't be
quick, I could see
surprised,
them trading back. To be honest with you, the way they
That's
kind
what
of
I
moved
would
around
do.
it in the last draft, I could see them trading back and trying to go in a different direction. Maybe a
I would-
quarterback later on.
I would totally do that because RG3 might come back, and if he doesn't Tony Romo himself, I think that's fine. John, what do you think?
I think I'd go with Myles Garrett, and I think the reason for that is they've got enough stuff going on where they can trade for a quarterback, things like that. They've got to build their team at the line of scrimmage, regardless of which side of the ball.
Yeah,
that's
I'd
on.
agree with that too. I personally, my philosophy is quarterback is the third most important because a good running game, like we've seen Super Bowl teams with shitty quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's like obviously quarterback is
Last year, honestly.
the best barometer for success. Like it can make up for a lot of deficiencies. Drew Brees is a good example. But if you're proficient at everywhere else, you can save a lot of money on a decent quarterback and still get to a Super Bowl. So yeah, I'd probably go Garrett unless I want to. If I trade down, or if I don't want Garrett, I trade down and stock up on picks. I'd probably get a next year first rounder, this year's second rounder, or move down to this year's first rounder. You know, get some actual picks and really build, because if you build from, like John said, the line out, I feel like it's always a winning formula, always in the NFL, just based on how it's played. An elite edge rusher is hard to get, so that might be the way they should go. But moving on, so Hugh Jackson off our hot seat, off the RTP official hot seat, but possibly moving on, Mike Tomlin, who is with the Steelers, of course. They are at 4-5. However, the Ravens lead that division at 5-4.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this hot seat business is all about necessarily. They lost Ben for a little bit. I don't think he should be on it. I don't think the Rooneys are going to fire him because they're just a loyal group there. Yeah. But if it was anyone else, do you think he deserves it so far? Assuming he, I don't think he's going to be fired on Steelers. But if he was on, say, the Lions, should he be fired?
I think the concern here is it's the second time in 2 years they've had a 4-game slide like this. I think they opened the season last year 0-4.
Yeah. Sure.
Mike Tomlin always recovers. The guy's a phenomenal coach. They have nothing to worry about in Pittsburgh. This kind of shit happens, especially up there. You work through it. They're going to end up finishing out the season winning the North. I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
I agree. Definitely, you got to hit those points with the Rooneys. That they do not have a history of changing coaches on the fly. I think they've got a really great relationship with Mike Tomlin, and they know he really gets through to all the players. I mean, they've got a ton of respect for that guy. And, just a couple years ago, we were talking about Mike Tomlin as maybe the best coach in the league, not named Bill Belichick. So I don't think he's got a chance.
I'd still put him in the top 3.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, maybe the top 4. I feel like there's 4 actual, legit, these people create wins coaches, and it's obviously Belichick at the top of the list and alone in Tier A. But Tier B is probably Tomlin, probably Bruce Arians, and probably that one guy.
I got to go Pete Carroll there. Yeah,
I was going to say
Seattle.
Pete Carroll. That he looks younger by about 15 years than he actually is. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's actually the oldest coach in the league right now, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
That's nuts. He looks way younger than Bill Belichick. It's probably because he smiles, though.
It's the surfing.
Yeah,
and he chews gum harder than anybody in the league.
Oh, it's so weird. He's all over. I'm pretty sure he has ADHD, but good for him. He's successful. But he's certainly no deer in the headlights Caldwell. But I don't think Mike Tomlin should be fired. I think they have one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best, when they're all clicking. They easily have the two best skill position players, which is hard to do, and one of the best quarterbacks. the defense is just kind of shit right now, which is weird to say about a Steelers team, but
Yeah.
that's how it is right now. And, I mean, they got old on defense. Pretty much the retirement of Troy Polamalu a few years ago is pretty much when that started to decline, and they just keep going. But they have some studs on there, like Ryan Shazier, and although Cam Hayward's out for the season, so it's only going to get worse. But, yeah, I feel like they're probably going to make the playoffs. They're probably not going to win the Super Bowl at this point. But they're going to be exciting in the playoffs. And they're probably going to have a full-out, like, Anchorman-style alley fight with the Bengals in the playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That'd be fun.
Next on the list, our buddy Randy would be real upset about this. Mike McCarthy of the Green Bay Packers, which have been bad this year, but they're still 4-5.
Yeah.
The Lions and Vikings are in front at 5-4. I think the Vikings own the tiebreaker because they beat the Lions. But it's hard for me to say that he should be on the hot seat. But, I mean, they suck. I'm surprised that they won 4 games, honestly, because that defense is abysmal. Joel, how do you feel about the Green Bay Packers? Should Mike McCarthy even be? Should we be talking about this? It's Mike McCarthy. He's probably the head of the C group, if not the very bottom of the B group in the coaches we just mentioned.
Yeah, I think you got to put him up there, and he's not on my hot seat. If for anything, I think him and Aaron Rodgers have a really close bond, and when they have that, you don't mess with that. When you've got an elite quarterback who really likes playing for this coach, I'm not sure if he's calling the plays on offense right now or not, because that changes hands a lot with this team. But they just look at a sink a lot of times. They've had a ton of injuries, obviously. And the defensive secondary on this team is terrible. They went into the Titans game, though, ranked number 1 in rushing defense. And the Titans still put up like 130-plus yards on them on the ground.
That was a little bit skewed because they play teams like the Lions and the Vikings that can't. The Vikings can't run,
and it's a shootout
and the
with
Lions
them a lot of
don't
times.
run. Right, and it's So I think it's a little skewed. I don't think they have a good front defense.
Yeah,
but I was unaware they had a secondary. So this is actually news.
Well, they did before Delaney Walker stiff-armed them into the ground and buried them.
Oh, jeez, Delaney Walker, ageless. How is he still good?
Oh man.
Anyways,
he's getting better.
John, how do you feel about this? Is Mike McCarthy, does he deserve this? Him and his rugged beard?
If a nuclear weapon went off in the middle of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Mike McCarthy should be the only thing left standing.
And Lambeau.
Don't take him out of fucking Green Bay. Are you kidding me? Change everyone else out if you have to. The guy is a proven winner.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Dom Capers is going for sure.
Dom Capers,
the defensive coordinator. He might get fired today.
Well, they should fire their entire defense, I think.
Yeah.
Except for Clay Matthews' hair.
Yeah.
They could just put that out there. Just distract everybody with its luscious locks. Last on the list, and this is just to piss Lou off or make him happy. I think it would make him happy. He hates everything about Texas sports and is still a fan. And I don't understand. They could win the Super Bowl and he'd be like, wasn't good enough. Fucking garbage. Anyways, Bill O'Brien and his chin are on our hot seat at 6-3. They're leading their fucking division, but they're on our hot seat because fuck do they look boring. They're so boring to watch. I would rather watch the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars go at it than anything with the Texans in it. Ever. Bork Laser is garbage. We told you he was garbage. He's garbage. John, tell me why Bill O'Brien should be fired immediately and then shot into Mars.
Because Bork Laser's garbage.
Oh, man. I know they don't have J.J. Watt, and so there's not even really a reason to watch him because Hopkins can't go out there and make plays because Bork can't throw a fucking football.
They won a game with this guy throwing for 99 yards. They won an NFL game like that.
I could throw for 99 yards.
Yeah.
Just give me a bunch of screen passes. Dude, Lamar Miller would be a fantasy stud with me under quarterback.
The Texans are so confusing, man, because that defense is legit. That defense is
It
really
is.
good. Even without J.J. Watt, they're really dangerous.
Right. Clowney is still good. Does he still lead the league in tackles for losses?
I think he's in the lead for pressures. He may be for losses too.
He was for tackles for losses for a while. I don't know if
Okay.
that held up, but I mean he's still legit. He just can't get to the quarterback sometimes, which is fine. I don't think like a pass rusher doesn't necessarily need to get to the quarterback and sack him with the ball.
Just pressure is all you need.
Pressure, yeah.
Lamar Miller has played really well. It's crazy. Again, they're a really confusing team because I think they're ranked 5th right now in rushing, but they're almost dead last in rushing touchdowns because they can't get into the
like
10
last
to the
week,
5-yard line.
He ran like 45 yards and got tackled on the 1 by Miles Jack. And it's like,
And somehow they're 6-3, but they have looked so disoriented. And Bill O'Brien's supposed to be the quarterback guru, and he just hasn't done anything with Osweiler.
Can we fire Bill O'Brien's face? I can't stand it. It bothers me, that hole in his chin, and just his, like, he just always looks like, you know how when kids don't like something that they're eating, and you tell them just fucking swallow it? It's like that all the time with Bill O'Brien. He's like, I don't wanna. You're like, do it, or you're going to bed.
Do you think there's a singularity in that chin?
Oh man, it's just a travesty down there. It's all fucking. He needs a beard and just cover that shit up. Like he has a nice jawline. It's just like there's like lines in his face where it looks like someone molded him out of clay, but like it was their first shot at like a human face. Like it's a good effort. Don't get me wrong. Like better than I can do, but like nah, that's not very good. Anyways. I guess Bill O'Brien should be fired, and everybody else with a worse record should not.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I love the NFL.
Honestly, I think he comes off the hot seat when DeAndre Hopkins starts catching footballs.
That's not going to happen. Because Bork has to throw him those.
Yeah. We did tell you guys, though, many times, Bork Laser's awful.
It looks like Byron Leftwich got alopecia,
Throwback.
turned white, and then also got like Erb's palsy. And so he throws it all weird. It's so bad. It's worse than the Derek Carr stuff. It's way worse. I would rather watch every Derek Carr pass 3 times than watch just a series of Bork. Ugh. Anyways,
I heard Bork was going to call Tebow to have him work on his throwing.
He'd have a better shot. Oh, maybe Tebow can pray something into him, or I don't know. Like he helped that one blind guy, or no, it was a seizure dude.
Yeah, that's
He's
legit, right?
He lays hands on seizure guy, and it's okay. Anyways, moving on to something that also induces seizures. The talk about the anthem sitting and standing and protesting in the NFL. Regardless of what side you're on, you will have a seizure about this because it will make you annoyed or annoyed that people are annoyed. It doesn't. There's no winning. But anyways, there seems to be this slow. Like it kind of reached its peak in the preseason, and then week 1 it was still kind of up there, and then it just kind of like has been dying a slow death ever since. The most recent high-profile player to say that they're not going to do that anymore is Mike Evans, the stud wide receiver of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who has stopped dropping balls and thus has rocketed up the fantasy charts because now he's competent. Good for you, Mike. He said that he's not going to sit for the national anthem anymore. He will stand with his teammates and support them, and instead will spend time working in the community and donating money to funds that would help the cause. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to do. Mm-hmm. Like, of course you would do. Like, were people doing this and not doing that as well before?
Apparently,
because that's like the number one. That's slacktivism 101. You're like the Occupy group without actually donating money to like politicians that would help you, or movements, or like the ACLU. Like, come on, why were you not doing this already? But I guess the overarching question is. Not how you feel about it one way or the other, but is this dead? Is it dead now, or are we just waiting for Kaepernick?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really hope so.
I mean, it's dead as far as like front page stories go. I think ESPN still has a weekly tally of all of the players around the league that are doing this.
South Park nailed it when they talked about this, about the girls' volleyball team, whether or not they're going to sit or stand. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even heard much about, like, you know, the high school kids and all that kind of stuff lately about it, that they were all joining in. And some guys were doing some different stuff. I mentioned the Titans players. They're not kneeling, but they're holding up a fist right after the anthem is over. So
I kind of like that because it doesn't piss off the people that are saying, hey, you're disrespecting the anthem in the country, because, you know, I'm not terribly patriotic, but I get the sentiment.
Yeah.
I understand it. Like John, for instance, served in our military in a top secret capacity. So yeah, like I respect that about John and other people who have done that, and I respect the fact that they would be upset about this in some capacity, because of course John's talked about it before. It's not really. It seems for you it's disrespectful, but damn it, they have the right to do it, and I want them to have the right to do it in your eyes, right?
That is correct. I didn't fight for freedom and sign up so that I could limit someone else's.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So I get both sides of it. I feel like the actual activism should have gone along with that, because I know Kaepernick, for instance, was saying, like, he was talking to local police and he was donating to some different shit, or said he would. I don't know if he actually did. But yeah, I feel like this movement has pretty much gone away, especially because of, like, the election shit.
Yeah.
Which seems more important.
I think there was something. I think there was another thing that helped this movement kind of die, and what I think it is I don't think there were too many football players that wanted to face the veterans that were standing on the field guarding the colors in the middle of the Veterans Weekend celebrations, and they're sitting there kneeling while there's a bunch of, you know, Army,
like,
Air
didn't they
Force,
just do a Remembrance
Navy.
Day games like San Diego and stuff? Like, they had like camo shit going on. Like, so like, I get it. I feel like the standing in the fist thing is like, we support the anthem and what it stands for, but also there's another thing that we're also in solidarity with, and I feel like that's a better way to do it. It just covers your bases and it makes it not such a PR mess. It's not disrespectful to anyone.
Well, and putting their money where their mouth is too.
Right, exactly. So yeah, what I hope this is it turns into actual activism. Now, again, I don't know who like Doug Baldwin, for instance, did donate money and also knelt, and then he ended up did he not kneel and he did the fist thing. Anyways, he was protesting one way or another, and he actually did. So I know some people are actually doing stuff, but you know, some of them, just like every person on the internet who's like, I'm going to go to an ACLU meeting this weekend.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not doing that.
Just give them
I
your
donated
money.
to the ACLU. I did, but I didn't go to a meeting. Fuck that. Take my money and do your own goddamn meetings. I'm not doing that shit for you.
I'll tell you, too, the real scandal here that it did not make huge news was that the NFL was charging the military to basically show their support for them during the pre-games and all that. And
That's not a scandal.
They have since given back the money, they said, but only after somebody called them out on it. So
okay, so
that's really
so I don't think that's shady at all. The military spends millions upon millions upon millions of dollars a year to recruit people into it.
Sure.
It's just another recruiting tool. Now, okay, you can say a little bit, well, you know, they kind of made it look like more than just a recruiting tool. At the end of the day, that's all this was. The military should be paying, if you know, the military, just like anybody else, should be paying the NFL for their time. I have no issue with it.
Okay.
I really don't, personally.
I mean,
I think
I would defer to you
then
on
that's
that for
just
sure.
one person's perspective. But it's a recruiting tool, and just like they're paying NBC every time you see a Navy commercial, they should be paying the NFL too. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but the Navy commercials have that one guy that was in Pitch Black, that black guy. He's got that voice. You're paying for him.
Hey, I'll pay all day to hear that.
My
voice.
only point, John, is I think the NFL should just donate that to them, you know, as an extra show of support. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what they're doing now.
Can we get
that's fair.
Can we get rid of the breast cancer awareness scam thing and
That's
just
rough,
do it,
man.
dude?
That's
It's not. I'm not anti.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, the actual pink. They literally put money into breast cancer awareness and not breast cancer research.
Right, and that's the issue.
Right, and so like, why can't we change it to like off pink or like flamingo or salmon or something, and then like donate to actual research?
We could do a whole show on charity scandal, man.
Oh,
it's bad.
Fuck. Yeah, it is bad.
Now, what I do think, sorry, Jake, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to get in this one last point.
Fuck you, John.
The NFL, they do this thing where during the month of November or during the remembrance games, they always say, however many points are scored, we'll donate that amount of money to the Wounded Warrior and other projects.
Right.
Instead of giving that money back to the Air Force or the Army or the Department of Defense, they should have just said, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to still charge you that money, and we're just going to turn around and directly donate it to military or veterans charities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that's also what happens with like player fines and stuff. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but when a player gets fined in any of these major leagues, it's always a charity fund that ends up getting divvied up, depending on whatever they decide. But yeah, anyways, so those are the topics for this week. If you would like us to talk about another topic, the next show is going to be Friday morning. Down in the comments, please let us know what kind of topics that you would like us to discuss on RTP. It's usually going to be the three of us. Maybe every once in a while to switch up. Who knows in this crazy world of ours. But this has been RTP. This is Jake. That over there is John, or maybe it's over there, and then Joel is somewhere around here, and I love you all electrically. Please make sure you subscribe, please make sure you share, and please make sure that you wear pants next time. It was very embarrassing.